The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been expanding like crazy lately, especially with its deep dive into the multiverse saga. Between shows on Disney Plus and all the recent movie releases like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and Deadpool and Wolverine, we've seen a bunch of new faces join the MCU. A lot of them are pulled straight from the comics, and quite a few are tied directly to the multiverse idea. But even with everything going on in Phases 5 and 6 and all the multiverse twists, there are still a bunch of characters that fans have been dying to see, and they haven't shown up yet. Some of these are big names from the X-Men side of Marvel, and others are massive cosmic players who feel like they should have made their debut by now. It's not like Marvel doesn't have room for them, especially with all the teases they keep dropping. Take Captain Britain. There's been a lot of buzz about him ever since that little name drop in Avengers Endgame, where Peggy Carter casually mentioned Agent Braddock. It was a blink-and-you-miss-it moment, but fans who know the comics picked up on it right away. So let's kick things off at number 1 with Captain Britain, the multiverse's defender. Brian Braddock's original story is wild. He gets chosen by this ancient power and receives the Amulet of Right, turning him into Captain Britain. Not only does he become a magical super soldier defending the UK, but he also ends up working across different realities as part of the Captain Britain Corps. It's a perfect fit for the current MCU vibe, especially since we're knee-deep in multiverse territory. He's fought alongside Excalibur, served in British intelligence, and even teamed up with the Secret Avengers. All of this could make for some great storylines. With that Agent Braddock tease still hanging in the air, Marvel might just be setting the stage for him already. Sliding into the fan favorite who's been long overdue for a proper MCU spotlight, Ghost Rider. Now technically, we've already seen Robbie Reyes show up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but let's be honest, the show's canonicity is a little bit iffy these days. But Johnny Blaze, that's the original. A daredevil stuntman who sells his soul to save his dad and ends up becoming a literal spirit of vengeance riding a flaming motorcycle. He's one of the darkest and most visually intense characters Marvel has to offer. And now that Daredevil and Wolverine is cracking open the R-rated door, it feels like there's no excuse not to bring Johnny into the MCU. Let us now look at something super, Hyperion, also known as Marvel's Superman. Hyperion might not be as well known as other Marvel heroes, but he's got major potential. He's kind of like Marvel's version of Superman, and he comes from a universe that was destroyed, which left him stranded in the main timeline. He joined the Avengers and quickly became one of their most powerful members. He also led the Squadron Supreme, a group of alternate universe heroes that would fit perfectly into Marvel's multiverse theme. Plus, his bond with Thor, since they're both godlike outsiders, could make for some great on-screen chemistry. Captain Universe, power from the cosmos. Captain Universe isn't just one person, it's more like a title granted by the Enigma Force, a cosmic power that chooses people when the universe needs them most. These people become supercharged with something called the Uni-Power, and suddenly they're walking cosmic nukes. Because this identity changes from person to person, Marvel has a lot of creative freedom here. It's a great way to introduce a completely new set of powers while connecting everything to the larger multiversal and cosmic framework of the MCU. Now here's someone who's already had a live-action debut, kind of. Illyana Rasputina, aka Magic, showed up in The New Mutants, but that movie didn't exactly blow anyone away. And with Marvel Studios clearly ignoring Fox's X-Men timeline, it's safe to assume we'll be seeing a new version of Magic soon. She's the sister of Colossus, and after being kidnapped by a demon lord, she grew up in a place called Limbo, where she mastered dark magic and time travel. She eventually escapes and becomes a major player with the New Mutants. It's hard not to see her as a perfect fit for the mystical side of the MCU, especially now that we've met characters like Clea and seen more of Doctor Strange's world. Now meet Michael Korvac, cosmic threat in human form. You might not know Michael Korvac unless you're deep into Marvel Comics lore, but trust me, this guy is dangerous. After betraying Earth in the future and getting punished by being fused with alien tech, he ends up traveling back in time with a plan to recreate the universe in his image. In stories like the Korvac Saga, he goes toe-to-toe with the Avengers and even the Guardians of the Galaxy. With those teams already set up in the MCU, Korvac would be a natural choice for a major cosmic villain. And now that James Gunn has wrapped up his time with the Guardians, it might be time to shake things up with a fresh villain like Korvac. Speaking of cosmic-level powerhouses, we have to talk about Franklin Richards. He's the son of Reed Richards and Susan Storm, and he's basically a reality-warping god. One version of him even turned Galactus into his personal herald. We already know the Fantastic Four is coming to the MCU, with actors like Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby playing Reed and Sue. And here's where it gets interesting. It's been hinted that Sue Storm is pregnant in the upcoming movie. That would mean Franklin is on the way. So even if we don't see him in that movie, he could definitely pop up in Avengers Secret Wars and possibly become one of the MCU's most powerful characters ever. That said, the MCU has no shortage of brilliant minds. Tony Stark, Shuri, and now Reed Richards are all high up on that list. But there's one genius who's still been flying under the radar, Blue Marvel, aka Adam Brashear. Back in the 60s, he gained antimatter powers during a science experiment and became a full-blown superhero. But because of the racial climate at that time, the government basically asked him to step down and work in the shadows. Since then, he's kept a low profile, but he's popped up on teams like the Ultimates and Mighty Avengers. It'd be amazing to see him show up in the MCU as a secret hero who's been doing his own thing this whole time. Coming next is Molecule Man, a key to Secret Wars. Owen Reese, aka Molecule Man, is another character who might not be super famous, but his story is crucial, especially if Marvel's building towards Secret Wars. He started out as a minor villain with the ability to manipulate molecules, but over time, his powers became godlike. So even though we've seen a bunch of new characters come into the MCU, there are still plenty of big names missing in action. Whether it's powerful multiverse protectors, cosmic-level heroes, or mutants with magic and dimension-hopping abilities, Marvel has a treasure trove of characters just waiting for their turn on the big screen. And with Avengers Secret Wars and Doomsday looming on the horizon, it's pretty likely we'll be seeing some of them sooner rather than later. Who are you hoping shows up next? And that wraps up today's video. If you want to stay in the loop with all the latest movie and series news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop your ideas for future videos in the comments. We're always down to hear what you want to see next. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because we've got some fire updates coming soon on which movie will kick off the MCU's mutant saga and what's next for the Inhumans. Stay locked in and let us know your thoughts on today's topic in the comments.